That's where I begin when I compose. So my first idea, you need a sujet. You need a sujet to do something. And this is a poem by Richard Katalinić-Jeretov. He was a poet in Mošenicka Draga, that's Croatia, and he's writing about Bijeli Sipar. Bijeli Sipar is the beach there, and it's a very nice poem. I will post it in here, and that's where it starts for me when I'm composing. And the first idea is I take a piano and have the idea how could the words be, and write it in my head. And then I switch over to Cubase, and the first thing I do in here is I go into one voice, and I have choir because I want a choir to sing this. And here's the Hollywood choir, and I can put in the words like Vi ne znate moj bijeli sipar. You have to trick around a little bit with that to find the right words, but in the end it goes like Vi ne znate moj bijeli sipar. It's not perfect, you have to trick around a little bit, but for me it's working because I only want to have the feeling at first how it's working. And I played solo, and let's listen to the choir how it's singing it. And so on and so on. It's really working nicely. I wanted this mains choir to do this, and then I've put in another player by East West and put in the Hollywood Orchestra. Well, it's a different character from VSL library, the Cube by VSL or Spitfire. It's got this Hollywood touch a little bit, but I wanted it to be that broad, bright sound here. So this is the opener, the jelly coming in, and I played everything in it. This is a scribble, you know, I didn't compose. Violins coming in. We have this change. It's only made by ear, it's not composed in a partitur. And then I got this Wagnerian Richard Strauss stuff going in, adding emotion, you know, and the horn section. So, this is not a classical chord. And going to modulation. So you see, it's quite easy to work with this and make it emotional. The point is, I do this by ear, just playing the keyboard. A classical composition would be done different. This is just a scribble, and then I go into notation like Finale or Sibelius and do a partitur when I got the idea, because there are, of course, you can see in here there are still some mistakes in there. You can analyze it and even go in and change something. This is quite easy. You can do it by ear if you're not skilled composer, or do it like this. The real thrill is this vocal thing that you can put in something like, it can be Italian, even German. I tried German, or this is Croatian. It works, and this is really great. What I think it's incredible what they do here. So let me put another one in. This is the first movement for also a movie I want to make about this beach on this sujet of the poem. And the second one is a different style. So let me have a look what I can do there. So the second movement is made more like Mozart Requiem, Dies Irae. I've been working on a project of Mozart Requiem. So I was skilled since I was a kid to hear and get the feeling how they did it. This is about Krilatim. Krilatim is wings, and Konjima, the men are answering with a horse. So it's a horse with wings on the Učka Gore, on the mountains of Učka. And this is how it goes. Just a statement at the beginning, and then the men are answering, and then everything else come in. Also just improvised, and it needs much more fixing to do it right, not to have parallels, quint parallels, and all these things. So here we start. Krilatim. You see the words here? It's like a fugue by Bach, you know. Answer, second to Konjima, and then they play together. Now, bass. Cello. Bass coming later. And then they're mixing bass. Strings. And then it's getting bigger, you know. Normally I would do accelerando here. Trombones. This typical Wagnerian trombones. My father was a trombone player, besides other things he did. So I get a feeling when you must put in trombones. But this is not the style of Mozart Requiem, you know, this trombones. By the way, he hated trumpets. Mozart was running out of rehearsals, holding his ear. He hated trumpets. Okay, you see how you do this. First style I had was more this massive, like Hollywood strings stuff in the first movement. The second is more classical. And the third one I orientated a little bit more with Ennio Morricone. I don't know where it will be ending up in the end, but let's have a listen to the third one. Then you get this wonderful opera voices by East West. You get the tenor and the soprano. Let's put this aside and have a look at the last one. And then I'll show you a video along with the last one. You have a feeling where it might end up. Okay, here we go with the last movement. As I mentioned, it's more this Ennio Morricone thing. Really good composer, very emotional. And I have the... If you play it carefully, you can really fake a soprano. And it goes into the arrangement, then you don't realize that it's a sample. But of course, it's a voice of the lady who sang the original. And there's also a tenor in there. And if you go into the play here, you can have also a look that they use words. It's not like the Hollywood choir. You cannot put in your own words. I would like to see that at the next update. But it's working for this Morricone thing. And then I said this should be a little bit more modern than the other two, like Requiem or this Gustav Mahler, Richard Strauss Alpensymphonie stuff. So I took Native Instruments Kontakt una corda. Una corda is like a piano with not the resonance chords strings. So it's got a very, very nice sound, like some of the first pianos that were made. Of course, they had a different tuning, but not wohl temperiert. But it had this, and I made a sequence like this one. And this makes an ambient sound, you know. And to this, the voice, upper voice of the soprano is very nice chosen. In the end, I put in the orchestra and mixed it with Massive X and Omnisphere to make it more bright. Listen to that. Here comes in the voice. Here I hear a little bit, it's artificial. But in the middle, you will see this. But the vibrato is okay. And here it goes. And this is opening, and it's emotional, no? And that's a very nice pad by Omnisphere. And now, together with Hollywood strings. Really like it. And the horn section. Opening. Breathing out of it. So this is one of the possibilities you have with this East-West thing. As I mentioned, best thing is you have a hearing background. I'm coming from classical music. As a kid, I heard everything because my father was a classical musician, and what you learned as a kid intuitively you can use later on. You only have to have the skills on the piano or whatever. As I've also said, this was improvised. It was not really composed because I hear a lot of Hollywood film scoring. They use these chords. Normally, it's much more ambitious to do it polyphonically, make a partitur and think about in your inner ear, work on the grand piano, what's happening here, which instrumentation do I use, which sounds from without orchestra, like electronic sounds, can I use, how are the voices placed, which tempo do I use, which chords. If I go to the classical thing, like the first movement I hit here, there were some chords you never would have played in the classical period. So many things. I could make a big lecture on that. Probably I do, or I do sometimes to my students. But you have an impression that also if you're not a skilled compositor, you can do something. Yes, but listen to classical music. My advice is listen to Richard Strauss' Alpensymphonie. Some people say it's kitschy, but he said he learned instrumentation by that. Listen to Wagner. I don't personally really like Wagner. I prefer Gustav Mahler or Tchaikovsky. If it comes to fast strings, this is very bright, emotional. If I do faster strings, I would use VSL library, like Tchaikovsky Manfred Symphony. The last movement, it's very fast, and or Stravinsky. I would not use this. This is more this epic thing, but it's emotional, and that's what I like about East-West Library. So in the end, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I've been waiting for this possibility to use a choir that sings the words I put in there, even Croatian if I want to. I don't know if it works in Chinese or Japanese. Check it out. You have to fumble around a little bit with the words and vocals and syllabus, but in the end, I found it's working. And it's a real effort for somebody who wants to do it for fun, or the professional who wants to do it for film scoring, or some projects like mine for doing tone and orchestral work to a poem and adding video in the end. I will make a video with the last tune. You can relax and just listen to it and make up your mind if it's okay or not. Thank you.